Hello, and welcome to our podcast.
I'm so sorry. No, you know what? No, we're going to keep rolling.
Sure.
Yeah, this is Donovan.
And this is Hannah.
My train of thought, I was going to say it derailed, but it actually didn't even get going.
It didn't even leave the station.
Yeah, no, they forgot to attach the train to the cars, so they were like, all aboard, and the train just went speeding off, and everything else was like, what the? Hey, what the fuck? So yeah, this is my thing.
Yeah.
This is one of my things. This is a classic mockumentary comedy film.
This is the one that I know absolutely nothing about.
I know. I'm excited to see what you think about this movie because it came out 30 years ago, and I find it very funny, and I still think it's great, but also it's 30 years old, and there are some things about it that we'll talk about.
Before we get started, I'm always kind of confusing this with both Waiting for Godot and also What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Like, sometimes people will say Waiting for Guffman, and I'm like, oh yeah, that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Well, so Waiting for Godot is a purposeful reference.
Yes.
Waiting for Guffman is literally referencing Waiting for Godot.
Yes. Absolutely nothing to do with What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
No, that's just got a G in it.
Yes.
Like, it's got a letter G somewhere
Good enough
in
for
it.
me.
Yeah. Anyway, I have talked many times about how my family, specifically my parents, are theater people.
Yes.
Both my mom and my dad have acted, directed, and written plays. And they've always done it in somewhere between the, like, semi-professional to, like, amateur community theater level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've had their ups and downs where they've been, like, higher up on that spectrum to lower down on that spectrum. But, you know, that's kind of where they've been.
Yes.
Also, personally, you know, I am in a DIY metal band, so I'm also something of a semi-professional to amateur performer.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people who do stand-up comedy, like our friend Randy. We know people who are performers in sort of this low to medium, like, level.
Yeah.
This movie is about those people.
Yeah.
Specifically more on the low end of that spectrum, like
Sure.
really like amateurish people, but it is kind of a celebration of the weird wackos that make a Midwestern community theater performance.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So put a pin in that. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Sure.
This movie was directed by Christopher Guest.
Really?
Yes. Haha. This is a sequel to Spinal Tap, kind of. Sort of.
Yeah.
So basically, Christopher Guest was one of the three members of Spinal Tap, and he made that movie, and that kind of made him maybe not a huge star, but a fairly, like, respected actor in Hollywood. He did a lot of movies. He did Princess Bride in 1987.
Yeah.
You know, pretty big deal. And he also started to direct films. In 1989, he directed a movie called The Big Picture, starring Kevin Bacon, as well as some of the other people that he's worked with. You know, they're in that movie as well. And, you know, he started to kind of, you know, direct some TV and things like that. In 1993, he directed Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
Really?
Yeah, which was like a made-for-TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was him.
Interesting.
Yep. According to one of the production designers, or, you know, people who worked on that film with him, apparently Christopher Guest kind of talked to him at one point, and he kind of expressed, you know, sort of a, like, not like this movie's bad, but sort of like, this is complicated. There's miniatures, and there's special effects, and there's all this stuff, and I just kind of want to make a simpler movie. Just have some people, do some jokes, keep it smaller. And so he was like, next movie I make is going to be a little bit different. And the next movie he made was Waiting for Guffman.
Ah.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, I'm going to do another one of those, like, improv mockumentary films.
Sure.
You know, Spinal Tap was a huge success. It was a big thing. And so he's just like, I'm going to do that. But he couldn't really figure out, like, what would he do with that? He couldn't do Spinal Tap again. He had to do some new idea.
Yeah, you don't want to continue going to the same well of rock band that's not doing super great.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently the idea came to him when he went to see one of his kids perform in a school play.
Yeah.
So he went to this school play, and I believe he said it was Annie, Get Your Gun. Mm-hmm. And so all these little tiny kids are walking around with like fake handlebar mustaches and like horribly yelling lines at each other. And, you know, obviously it's kids. You expect that. But he was just sort of taken by the amateurishness of it. He was just like, wow, you know, like, what if I made a movie about a bunch of people just doing a really crummy amateur and like delusional people who thought that this would make them a big star.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But he wanted some help with the concept. So he reached out to a guy who he was a big fan of. That guy's name was Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eugene Levy had been on SCTV at this point, Second City Television.
Yes.
If you guys haven't watched Second City TV, oh my gosh, you guys have to watch SCTV. It's so funny.
Yeah.
You know, like it was on in the golden era kind of SNL. Obviously it wasn't live. It was like sketch comedy, you know, Canadian sketch comedy show. But everybody in that, everybody who was a main cast member of that show went on to be a pretty big deal. We're going to talk about a few of them because they're in this movie, but ones who aren't in this movie who are a big deal. John Candy, Rick Moranis, Harold Ramis, Martin Short. This is kind of what kicked off their career, what kind of got them out there.
Yeah.
And it's fucking funny. It's really fucking funny. Not only that, but Eugene Levy and John Candy in 1984 did a comedic fake documentary about the band that they were in for an SCTV sketch. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Why, yes. Yes, it does.
So, yeah, Christopher Guest really liked SCTV. He really liked Eugene Levy, and he kind of saw him as like a kindred spirit, as like, oh, you're doing like the same kind of thing that I am. And so he reached out to him and said, hey, do you want to like help me come up with the idea for this film? And Eugene Levy was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? So they started working together and really started to flesh out the idea. Similar to Spinal Tap, though, they had sort of a general idea for what would happen, but scene to scene, it's almost entirely improvised.
Sure.
They got a lot of really, really good comedic actors together. You know, in Spinal Tap, don't get me wrong, Spinal Tap, fantastic, amazing film. But like aside from, it's sort of like the three band member guys who are sort of riffing and everybody else that's sort of playing off of them. There's a couple of colorful characters here and there, but like they're the ones doing all the bits, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody else is playing more or less a straight man character. In this one, every character is some very talented comedic actor riffing, essentially. Like every single one of them is in their own way kind of doing a thing. And that would be sort of Christopher Guest's style marker for a whole bunch of movies, because this style of movie will continue basically up till, I think he did the last one in like 2016. I mean, if you count Spinal Tap 2, he did that.
Yeah, this year.
Which we still haven't seen.
We have not, no.
I can't believe we did a whole episode on Spinal Tap. Yeah. No, we're not.
Haven't seen the second one yet. Oops.
Anyway, on top of that, the music would be done by Spinal Tap. It would be done by Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer.
Yeah.
Would do the music for the movie.
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
they're all there. They're all just here.
So yeah, why not? And you know, it would be released by Castle Rock, which is the same people who released Spinal Tap. This movie, I think, was sort of a proof of concept in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I will talk about a little bit later, but this movie didn't make money. This was a small film that made no money, but it's one of those like cult classics in the traditional sense of a cult classic. Like,
yeah, where was not a huge splash at first, but then like over the years, as people like it got a lot of really great word of mouth, and everybody was like sharing it with people, and was like, oh, you got to watch this movie.
Exactly. I have talked before about my love for movies about the creative process.
Yes.
And this is a comedic take on the creative process, but this movie is about the creative process. It's about a bunch of people doing a play and all of the problems that come up from doing a play, especially with no budget in a small town in the middle of nowhere. And It's really fun. I hope you like it. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff afterward. Pretty simple setup here. You will recognize just about every actor in this movie.
I'm sure.
A ton of them, up to this point, were not super well known and would become more well known later, including guys like Eugene Levy. You know, he was about to be the dad in American Pie, like a couple of years after this. You know, I guess Catherine O'Hara, who is also in this, she was already the mom in Home Alone by this point, but at the same, you know, kind of the same things. That, like, her career was sort of on an upward trend here, and rest in peace, she just passed recently.
Oh, God bless Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah, she's great in this, and we'll talk about a bunch of the other people in this movie. You know, fairly small cast, but at the same time, like, everybody's recognizable.
Yeah.
And it's a short movie, too, so that'll be fun. All right, we will be right back. Yeah, here we go.
Toodaloo.
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day,
And we're back.
Oh boy, are we.
Yeah. So what'd you think, Hannah?
Okay, so do you remember when you made me watch Frank and I was like, wow, this was a very good movie, but I never want to watch it again?
Yeah.
I feel somewhat similar about Waiting for Guffman.
Really?
It's excruciatingly funny. It is very funny. I highly recommend you watch it at least once. But, like, there were parts when I thought I was going to cringe so hard I was actually going to implode.
Excruciatingly funny is a great way to put that.
Yes.
I actually really like that.
I laughed very hard and I cringed so hard. And, like, I don't generally like cringe comedy.
Yeah,
like if the comedic part of it is that, like, someone is like, you know, being bad at something and don't realize that they're bad at something, I'm just like, no, stop, no, please don't, please. But, like, it was very, very funny.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't really think of this movie as cringe comedy, although certainly that's part of it.
It's like, it's a different kind of cringe comedy, which I think is why I didn't, like, stop in the middle of it, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I don't like really any of, oh gosh, what's his name?
Oh, Larry David.
No. Not Larry. Well, I've never really seen Larry David. Who's the guy who's in Elf?
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I don't really like any of, like, Will Ferrell's movies because a lot of them seem to be like, you know, Will Ferrell is very cringy and that's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Or like Meet the Fockers. I hated Meet the Fockers and I never watched any of the sequels. I don't like that kind of cringe comedy.
You know.
This is like, these are people who genuinely believe what they're doing is good and you're just watching it and you're going, no, but it's not. It's not though.
I think a lot of the humor of this film really does come from the
earnestness.
The like, these people legitimately have no idea how outside of,
yes,
like how low they are. I hate to say that, you know.
They don't have any sort of context for what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, you know, trying to, like, relate it to a music thing. It's like when a band, like, plays at a bar in front of 30 people and thinks that they're rock stars. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of like that. And I've met people like that, you know, that they think, like, oh, well, you know, we can sell out the local bar, therefore we're, like, the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah. It was really good, though. It was really funny. Like, Catherine O'Hara is a genius.
Yeah.
Like, she plays a character who is married to Fred Willard's character, and literally every time that he is speaking, just watch Catherine O'Hara's face because she is just going on facial journeys. It's like she's not saying anything, and it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your goddamn life.
Yeah. There's not much of a plot to speak of.
No, the plot is that we're gonna put on a big show.
Yeah, basically what we see is a town is about to have is sesquicentennial anniversary, whatever the fuck, 150-year anniversary. Sesquicentennial or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're putting on a play for it.
About the history of the town.
Yeah, and the two people who are doing it are Bob Balaban. I forget the character's name. He's the music teacher for the school, and he's directed all the previous town plays.
Yeah.
And
Lloyd Miller,
yeah. And Corky St. Clair, played by Christopher Guest, and he's this, he's from New York, and he's done Broadway, he's done acting in New York, although his credentials are
suspect. He's done off Broadway.
Yeah. All of you out there, I can tell you there is Broadway, there's off-Broadway, and there's off-Broadway. They don't go any more than that. If you're, like, off-Broadway means less than 100 seats. If you're going to off-Broadway, you're basically doing it for, like, 3 people.
Yeah.
The fourth off, you're doing it for yourself. In fact, you're probably not even putting on a play. You're probably just thinking about it in your mind. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's exactly what it is.
I think off Broadway is just you renting in like a subway car.
Yeah. There is a reading of this film. I'm not one to do this. I like to think that he's delusional because that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
But there is a reading of this film that my dad, who also really enjoys this film, again, acting guy, that he likes to kind of bring up sometimes where it's like he thinks that Corky is just being malicious the whole time. That when he says Guffman's coming, that's totally a lie, that it's all fake, and that like he is doing this to satisfy his own sort of like desires,
as like he never really made it big, so now he's going to force other people to feel the heights and the lows and shame that he did.
I don't even know if it's like that, but if it's definitely like he's actually never done any acting, he's just pretending, and he's showing up and he's saying all these things and none of it's true.
A true psychopath.
Yes. And then he moves back to New York and he's like, I'm auditioning for a Broadway show, but he's not. He's just running a shop,
Yep.
That kind of stuff. I think it's better that he's delusional. I think it's better that he's like honestly actually thinks that this is like a big deal or whatever.
Genuinely thinks that like a small town play put on by a bunch of amateurs is going to make it to Broadway. Like genuinely thinks that's funnier. Mm-hmm.
I agree completely. And he gets this colorful cast of characters. He gets the two the married couple that runs the travel agency in town, but they've never left the town.
Except for that one time for that one minor surgery that the man went and got. It was very minor surgery. Don't worry about it.
Very minor surgery. That was very funny. And then, the dentist, the girl who works at the Dairy Queen, the guy who's a mechanic at the junkyard or whatever.
The only hot boy in town.
Yes, the only hot boy in town. And a guy who lives out in a trailer in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, to be the narrator.
They're just pulling these, like, the bottom of the barrel of, like, talent in this town.
Yeah. Literally anybody who could possibly carry a tune as long as it was in a bucket with handles.
Yeah, and some of them still can't. Catherine O'Hara, in reality, an amazing actress who can sing. I wouldn't say she's, like, an amazing singer, but she can sing. But she is playing up this, like, really loud and out of tune.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you have to be a good enough singer to sing that badly, basically.
Yeah, exactly. When we get to Mighty Wind, when she's playing Mickey in the folks song, it's like she's great, like really good. So hearing this, it's sort of like, oh no.
Oh no.
But all of the complications that arise from it. Oh, they don't have enough money, so he quits, and then the one young actor, he has to quit because he's got to go back to his job. And, just all of those kind of things.
Yeah, his dad is not approving of him being in theater, and so he's like there for all of the rehearsals, and then day of the show is like, well, he's not going to be here because his dad says that he's got to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. The running out of money was very funny because Corky St. Clair goes to like the town like board or whatever.
Yes.
And is like, hey, I need more money. I need $100,000 in 1995 dollars to put on this play for I have to be honest, 87 people.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Which, again, if you're doing the reading that he's malicious, he's trying to
bankrupt this town.
This small city, large town.
Yeah.
Like kind of situation. And they're like, we have $15,000 all year.
All year. The entire budget for the whole town is $15,000.
We literally don't even have $100,000 to give you, my guy. And then he's like mad. You're all bastard people.
Bastard people.
This is a very quotable movie. There's lots of just fun little, lines here and there that you can just shoot at each other.
Corky St. Clair's like fuck ass haircut is amazing. Like the whole time.
Haircut.
It's so and I don't know if that was like if Christopher Guest actually cut his hair like that, or if like some amount of it is like a wig or something like that.
No, that's 100%.
It's so good. Catherine O'Hara's hair is so good too. She has like if you have seen Something About Mary, the scene where she takes she does the hair thing. She has
the jizz.
Yeah, the jizz hair.
Say the jizz.
Anyway, Catherine O'Hara's hair looks exactly like that the entire movie, but on purpose.
Yeah, but on purpose. Yeah, she's doing that.
It's so funny.
It is. It's really good. But at the same time, all of these people are sort of ripe for parody. And all of these people are maybe to a certain extent not the best people in the world, but you still kind of feel for them.
Oh, yeah.
Especially I think Parker Posey's character.
She's truly trying her best.
She's like, you can tell she's trying her best. She's not totally untalented. She can dance. She can move around. She's got, she can sing okay.
She can do that ballerina fold thing.
Yeah.
Where you like sit on one leg and the other one's all the way out in front of you and you fold all the way down and touch your toes. That's impressive, man.
But like, she's working at Dairy Queen.
Yes.
And then, there's that scene where when the play looks like it's about to be canceled, she's just like cooking the saddest looking chicken wing on this tiny little charcoal grill.
It is one chicken wing.
One singular sad chicken wing with like no seasoning. Just
And like, if you've ever been through the Midwest, they're like very rural areas, you've seen houses that just have like a bunch of bullshit in the yard.
Yeah.
Her house has a bunch of bullshit in the yard. And then she's just standing there in like this giant coat with like a tiny charcoal grill and one chicken wing and like a plastic fan like fanning the flames to keep it going. And it's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, legitimately, this movie has just so many little bits of comedy just sprinkled throughout, kind of like Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
It's a very similar kind of style where the humor is not the overall sort of like arc. It's just the little scenes here and there. It's the little moments of comedy, the little lines that you can kind of quote and sort of remember. It'll come to you.
A bunch of very funny people given space to play.
Yes.
And play they goddamn did.
Every single one of them has at least one or two like absolutely laugh out loud moments.
Mm-hmm. Michael Hitchcock, who plays the councilman Steve Stark, while he's like watching the play, he's like fully enraptured. At one part, he's like crying.
Yeah,
and like this is the best thing that I have ever seen in my life, and it's so good.
So I'll talk a little bit about the actors in this movie because, well, one,
this movie rides and dies on its actors.
Yes, and there's so many good ones.
Yes,
and there's even good ones that didn't make it into the movie. I'll talk about that here in a minute.
Oh, really?
Yes. Obviously, Christopher Guest plays Corky St. Clair, the sort of director of the play, the nexus around which this whole farce kind of operates. Dr. Alan Pearl, the dentist, is played by Eugene Levy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He's so good. So funny. Fred Willard plays Ron Albertson, the husband of the two, and then Catherine O'Hara plays his wife. I shouldn't have to say who these people are or what they've been in. We talked about Fred Willard in Spinal Tap because he was in that too. Catherine O'Hara, like I said, she was in Home Alone. She was in Beetlejuice.
Schitt's Creek.
More recently, Schitt's Creek. I mean, she's just been in tons of stuff. And all of these people that I'm mentioning are going to be not only in Waiting for Guffman, but they're also going to be in Best in Show, which is the next one. They're also going to be in Mighty Wind, which is my favorite, which is the one after that. Mm-hmm. They're also going to be, most of them, in For Your Consideration, which is the one after that. And then they're all going to be in Mascots, which is the one after that. By the way, Corky St. Clair is a character in Mascots. He brought him back for that movie. I didn't realize this until I was doing research for this episode. He's actually so Mascots, I guess, is about a mascot competition, and Corky St. Clair is one of the judges of the mascot competition.
Oh boy, we're going to be combining two of the things I like the least, mascots and cringe humor.
Hannah, I here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have not actually seen Mascots.
Sure.
So I don't know if I can really say that's a my thing.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
In fact, I would even say, for your consideration, I've seen it once. I liked it okay. That's not really a my thing. This trilogy of Guffman, Best in Show, and Mighty Wind is absolutely a my thing. As well as Spinal Tap, obviously. Spinal Tap is sort of like movie zero. This is the first one, and Spinal Tap is sort of like the precursor.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain this any more than this. I really hate mascots. I super hate sports mascots.
Hannah hates mascots.
They're bad. I don't like them.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
Hannah has like weird like islands of things that she hates.
Yeah.
Like turtles.
I don't hate turtles. I just don't ever want to be near them, and they can't eat my toes.
All right, moving on.
Thank you.
Parker Posey.
Oh my god, hilarious.
As Libby Mae Brown, like I said, a great character. She's also been in tons of stuff. She was in Dazed and Confused. She was in Day Trippers. She was in Scream 3.
Yeah.
Superman Returns, the one that was in 2006. Remember? You guys remember that one, right? You guys remember Superman Returns, right? The one with Kevin Spacey.
Is that the one where Superman has a kid?
Wrong. Yeah, no, that's right. But that is the one where Kevin Spacey yells wrong.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She was just in White Lotus. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She will be in more of these movies. Parker Posey's great.
She was in Lost in Space, the one where everyone wanted to fuck that robot.
I mean...
You can take that out if you want. Or leave it in, up to you.
Yeah. The guy who was the narrator...
Yeah.
Played by an actor named Louis Arquette.
Is he of the famous Arquettes?
Yes. He's got 5 children, including Patricia, Alexis, and David, and Rosanna. Yeah.
He is the Arquette from which the famous Arquette stem.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. Well, his dad was also an actor, Cliff Arquette. So,
okay.
He is part of that.
The lineage.
That lineage, yes. He's also the former father-in-law of Courtney Cox.
Also in Scream.
Yeah. Everyone in Hollywood is related to each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. He's been in tons of stuff. He was in Fantasy Island. We've talked about Fantasy Island before.
Oh, wow.
He was in The Waltons. He was on just a ton of television. He was a voice actor for most of the 80s and 90s. He was like one of the Smurf voice actors.
Oh, really?
On the Smurfs.
Interesting. Wow. I used to love the Smurfs. I watched them all the time.
Yeah.
Not the new movies. I watched the cartoons.
Yeah, totally. He did some of the English voices for Akira.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. A bunch of the, like the doctor in Akira, he's the English voice. He also did a bunch of other characters in that.
Okay.
Yeah, and also a pup named Scooby-Doo. I only mentioned that because it was both 1988. It was the same year. He was in Akira, and he was that. Yeah. He was not Akira. He was in Akira. Sorry. I should be clear about this.
What a fucking year to be in Akira and also a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. He was also in the American dub of Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah.
God.
Was he the buff husband who flexes for the cat?
I don't think so.
Fair. I don't know what that man's name is.
I mean, he could have been. Hang on, let me look. No, he's the guy who takes care of the clock tower.
Oh.
Gosh, what else was he in? He was also in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman with Christopher Guest. It's probably how they met, I would have to imagine. Hang on, there was one other really good one. Oh, no, okay. I'm sorry. I thought he was in Twilight. No, he was in 1998 Twilight, the movie that had like Susan Sarandon and Gene Hackman. Not quite the same thing. He was a voice in Escape from Monkey Island, though, the video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Varied career.
Very varied career. Bob Balaban as Lloyd Miller, as the music director.
Lloyd Miller has this moment to shine where, like, all of the actors are fucking around backstage, like getting ready and faffing around.
Yeah.
And he is just like pouring his heart out, conducting this overture before that play actually starts. And he has, I swear to God, 7 people doing every instrument imaginable. There is one guy who, like, he's playing a trumpet with one hand, and then he's also playing like the giant drums with the other hand.
Yeah.
And then also he has a glockenspiel next to him.
Yeah, he's doing all of it.
He's doing all of it.
Bob Balaban has had a crazy career.
Yeah.
Okay, the movies that he's been in. He was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Mm-hmm. He was in... been in a bunch of Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what he's been doing a lot recently. But I mean, he's been acting since the late 60s. Like the dude's been around for a long time. He is 80 years old. He wrote a series of children's novels
Oh, really?
called McGrowl about a bionic dog.
Aw.
Yeah, I remember those were very popular when I was a kid. Yeah, I had a friend who I believe was related to him. I'll double check on that before I put this in the episode.
Sure.
But I knew a kid who went to my school whose last name was Balaban, and he said that his uncle wrote that book. And knowing that was Bob Balaban, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm also going to say this, and this also I'm going to double check on the validity of this, but my dad lost an acting role to Bob Balaban once.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, supposedly my dad was going to be in this, like, okay, this is the story as I remember it. I'm going to double check on this, but my dad did some commercials.
Yes.
And the director of those commercials really liked my dad. Just really liked him as, like, intellectual middle-aged white man.
Sure.
That's kind of like the
That's your dad's wheelhouse.
my dad's wheelhouse. That's what he actually is, and that's kind of the role he's played in a bunch of stuff. You know, my dad's been in commercials where he just plays like the dad, you know, or the husband. You know, that's just how he does it. And supposedly the director was making a small independent film and was like, hey, I want you to play this really small role. I think he was like a doctor. He's like, I want you to just play this small role. You'll be in like one scene. You'll have like 5 lines, you know, whatever, no big deal. And my dad was like, yeah, sure, sounds good. And then apparently he said, I'm really sorry, Donovan, but Bob Balaban wanted to do the role, so we're going to have Bob Balaban do the role.
You're just going to have Bob Balaban.
So in our family, we sometimes, whenever we see him on TV, we go, curse you, Bob Balaban. Because that was how he was going to get discovered and become a big Hollywood actor. That's how it goes.
And then you would have moved to California and never would have met.
Mr. Guffman would have seen us and would have been like, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
Yeah, you're going to Broadway. Not Broadway, Broadway. Yes.
Speaking of, Bob Balaban was in Broad City. And also he was in a couple of episodes of Girls, too.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Johnny Savage.
First of all, fuck you and your name.
Yeah, great.
Get out of here with that name. Go to jail.
Johnny Savage is played by a guy named Matt Kieslar, who was also in Scream 3 with Parker Posey.
Yes, he was.
He was also Fade Routha in the miniseries, like Sci-Fi Channel miniseries Dune that came out in the like early 2000s.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was him. That was him.
Wild.
He actually left acting, and now he's a scientist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
good for him.
He's like he does like medical research.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love that for you.
No, honestly, like really cool. Like that's really awesome. He's a doctor now. So like fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool, dude. I don't know. I always love stuff like that. Red Savage, his dad, is played by a guy named Brian Doyle Murray. Brian Doyle Murray's younger brother is a man named William Bill Murray.
I'm fucking sorry.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
Bill Murray. That guy.
That guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's also an actor. He's been in a bunch of Bill Murray's films. He was in Caddyshack. He was in Ghostbusters 2. He was in Groundhog Day.
That's why he looks familiar.
He's the voice of the Flying Dutchman in SpongeBob.
He is the voice of the Flying Dutchman in SpongeBob.
Yeah, he sure is. Also, Captain Knuckles in Flapjack.
Yeah.
Just, you know, tons of stuff.
Bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It's so weird. He's in such a small role here, but there you go. Just tons of stuff here and there. He was Jack Ruby in that JFK movie.
Huh.
I always have to mention Jack Ruby because Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald on my birthday.
Yeah.
So I have to always mention that. Yeah, folks, you now know what my birthday is. Michael Hitchcock as Steve Sark. Michael Hitchcock, probably best known. He was in Glee for a while. He was a writer and co-executive producer for Glee, and then he was in a couple of episodes here and there. He was a writer and producer for that show Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Did you ever watch that show?
I did. I quite liked that show,
It was pretty all right. Yeah.
I watched most of the first season, and a lot of the songs were actually really good.
Yep. And he's also a mainstay in these like mockumentary films with Christopher Guest. Yeah, he continues doing these. He's in the Serenity movie.
Oh, yeah.
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 That was a weird thing that he was just randomly in. But yeah. The mayor is played by Larry Miller. Larry Miller is another very well-known comedy character actor.
Yes.
You know, he was in both of the Princess Diaries movies. He was in the Nutty Professor movies, at least a couple of them.
He was the dad in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Dad in 10 Things I Hate About You.
He's kind of like classic, like, bumbling 90s dad to me.
Yeah, a little bit, you know, bumbling 90s
Yeah.
dad. Yeah, he's still doing a lot of TV, you know. He's still out there. He was the boss in Dilbert, like the voice of the boss in the Dilbert comedy cartoon series.
I always forget that they made that.
Yeah, they did. And that guy's dead now, so that's good. Happy to hear that. He also, you know, he's done voice. He was in an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force as Larry Miller.
Yes.
Yeah, just fun stuff like that. Oh, Gwen Fabin Blunt, the lady who's like the descendant of Fabin, the guy, or Blaine Fabin,
yeah.
the guy who like founded the town. She's probably best known for being Casey Edison in Maniac Mansion.
Okay.
Yeah, so Maniac Mansion was like a show that was made by Eugene Levy. I think it was based on the video game. Yeah, it was based on the video game. She was in that. It's probably how, like, they're all these like Canadian actors that just know each other and they all work together. Canada, you know, it's a big country, but it's not that big a country. So she was in like one episode of a bunch of shows: Drew Carey Show, Judging Amy, 6 Feet Under, Stargate SG-1.
Oh, she was Mrs. Poe in a series of unfortunate events.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Just tons of little stuff. Pretty solid career.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's, you know, I talk about being like a, you know, like a dream job is being like a musician and touring in a band and stuff like that. Like, to me, that's like the actor version of what I want. Is not like, you know, oh, you know, you're a big, huge star. It's the like, oh yeah, you were in that cool band that did a couple of cool things here and there. You get to, you know, like that's the kind of thing I want to do.
You have steady work and your bills are paid.
Exactly. The UFO expert is David Cross.
He is in it for exactly 1 minute, and it's extremely funny.
It's extremely funny.
It's so good.
I fucking love David Cross. He did, you know, Mr. Show. I guess he was in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies? I did not know that.
He was in Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah. Kung Fu Panda, Megamind.
He's very funny. You've seen him in things.
Yeah,
It's great.
you've seen him in things. And like, 90s David Cross was like bald with a little goatee, and like, you know, 2000s and later David Cross has the big beard.
Yes.
You know, you've seen him in one way or the other. He was also in Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also Men in Black 2. He didn't come back for Men in Black 3, though.
No.
Or else we would have already talked about him. Go listen to the Men in Black 3 episode. It's one of my favorite ones that we've done. Linda Cash as Mrs. Pearl, the wife of Eugene Levy's character. She's been in just lots of, again, Canadian actress who's just been in tons of TV here and there. Mm-hmm. She was also in Maniac Mansion. She was in an episode of Seinfeld. She was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Third Rock from the Sun, Monk.
She does such a good job in this movie of, like, genuinely acting as if, like, she adores her husband and fully 100% believes that he is going to, like, be a Broadway star.
Yeah.
Like, she's just looking at him like, oh my gosh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna make it all the way.
Mm-hmm. She's also in Best in Show, although I don't think she does too many of these movies after that. So the guy who is Guffman, well, not
Guffman.
actually Guffman,
Yeah.
is Paul Benedict. And we've actually already talked about him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because he was in Spinal Tap.
Oh.
He was the guy who works at the hotel.
Yeah.
You know, the one who's like, I am as God made me, sir. He was also in The Addams Family. He was also in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Mm-hmm. And, you know, obviously he's in this. And he's also, I think, he's in A Mighty Wind as well. Just like a long time comedy actor, and he was the number painter on Sesame Street. You know.
Oh my God, yeah, he was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The guy who got abducted by the UFO, the older guy who talks there for a minute, that's Paul Dooley. He's one of those guys where, like, he's hard to describe to somebody. Like, you know who that is, but if you see him, you're like, oh, I know I've seen him and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in tons of stuff. He was one of the co-creators of the Electric Company.
Really?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, no, just a very cool, and he's from West Virginia. He's from Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah, and I mean, does it sound mean to say that he looks like he's from West Virginia?
No.
Are you sure? Because
It might be a little bit mean.
It feels like a mean thing to say. Yeah, he was Wimpy in the Popeye movie that everyone hates because it's bad. Yeah, he was in a lot of movies, like in little roles here and there, and he'll be in a couple more of these as well. Last but certainly not least, you probably missed him, but Bob Odenkirk's in this movie.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I missed that.
So the story is that Bob Odenkirk was cast to play the town minister.
Uh-huh.
Then they just cut that part. And so to sort of be like, hey, sorry, you're out. He's like very briefly one of the auditioning guys at the beginning.
Oh.
And he's not one of the ones we actually see audition. He's just like in the hall or
he's
whatever.
in the hallway waiting.
But
like
yeah.
that lady with all of the like belly dancing outfit on or whatever.
Yeah. And if, you don't know who Bob Odenkirk is, first of all, how? And secondly, he was Saul.
From Better Call fame.
Yeah, Better Call and Breaking Bad fame. And he's also just done a ton of other stuff, too. Like,
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about Bob Odenkirk at some point.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
I don't see how we possibly couldn't. So, they filmed this movie in Lockhart, Texas, which is a tiny town about 30 minutes away from Austin. A lot of the, like, side characters are locals.
Yeah.
So, like, all the main characters are, like, people that they hired, but a lot of those, like, little side characters are locals. The guy who does the Raging Bull scene at the beginning, he's actually an actor, but he was a local actor. They, like, hired him. And apparently he had one of the few scripted scenes in the movie. They were just like, here, do Raging Bull. And he was like, okay, sure. Yeah.
That was very funny.
It's a very funny moment there.
Just give us the flattest affect possible.
Yes.
Can do.
He actually said that, like, he was like, I don't do a voice. And they're like, no, that's perfect. You shouldn't. You should just do it basic. The budget was $4 million, and I'm going to be honest, I have no fucking idea. That must have just been paying all of the actors.
Yes.
Because where the fuck was that money?
Yeah. It all went to paying actors and also probably like craft services.
Yeah.
And like feeding all of the extras who were like turning up and like doing background shit.
Yeah, like when Corky goes to the town and says, I want $100,000, like you could make this movie for that amount of money. Like, it's really not. It's such a basic. Apparently there's a 2-hour version of this movie that has some of the edited out scenes, like Bob Odenkirk, and also Nothing Ever Happens in Blaine, that song, which I do actually think some of the I imagine it probably just slowed the movie down too much, but like the Nothing Ever Happens on Mars song doesn't work as well if you don't already have the Nothing Ever Happens in Blaine.
I mean, even if
joke.
they just had like a little bit of them like practicing the song in the background at one point, just to kind of like
they do, but like very little, very little. They're having the practice at the beginning where they're in the house or whatever. It only made $3 million. Cost $4, made $3.
Oof.
Not great.
No.
But I don't think this was made to be like a commercial film.
No, absolutely not. This is not going to be your big blockbuster summer popcorn movie. Absolutely not.
No.
And like that's not at all what was intended, I'm sure.
Like I'm sure they were like hoping it would be like Spinal Tap where it, would make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But it didn't, But it was pretty well reviewed. Like
Absolutely, yeah.
reviewers really liked it. Critics were generally very positive about it, even to this day. And it's one of those things where it's like, people will make lists of like the 100 funniest movies of all time. They'll put Waiting for Guffman on that list.
Absolutely.
Because if you're that if this is like your kind of movie, I mean, it really is. It's great. It's so quotable, and it's a great like cult film for its time. If you were a very funny, cool person in 1998, you'd be like, yeah, Waiting for Guffman was a great movie. I loved it.
You know, come over to my house and smoke some of my uncle's weed and watch Waiting for Guffman.
Oh my God, I would love to do that. That sounds so cool. It was sort of a proof of concept because this movie was seen, like, people liked it and people realized, like, oh, this could be really funny. The next two, Best in Show and Mighty Wind, were both very big successes. They both made a lot of money. I mean, maybe not a lot of money, but they both made money.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, kind of lost it. But like, yeah, I could totally imagine this being one of those things where it's just like, oh yeah, it's on the back shelf at Blockbuster or whatever, you know, let's rent it and laugh our asses off while we smoke ditchweed.
I can see the sun-bleached cover now.
Yeah, it got 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert in 1997. I mean, hell.
What more can you ask for, truly?
For real. Especially in the 90s, like, you know, hell yeah. So, okay. Very positive things about the movie to say. I think it's very positive. I think it's good. I will address something about it, though. Mm-hmm. There is an essay that I read kind of doing some research for this movie that I thought was kind of important to talk about. It was written by a guy named Dave Holmes, who I don't really know much about. But basically, he was a gay man, and he was like, you know, this movie, a lot of the center of the joke is homophobia.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, Corky St. Clair, a lot of what makes him sort of funny is that he's playing this sort of like closeted gay man character, and he's doing the affect, you know, the speech affect that's like very stereotypically gay.
Yeah.
You know, and all that kind of stuff.
He's running cover for himself by saying that he has a wife, but his wife is never shown.
Yes.
And he suspiciously knows quite a lot about hair removal.
Yeah, and also, you know, like women's clothes and all of that kind of stuff. And there are definitely some people who watch this movie in the year of our Lord 2020, whatever, and it's just kind of like, hey, that's kind of not a cool bit.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah.
I can see that perspective.
I think, personally, that Corky St. Clair it's less that he is stereotypically gay, and it's more that he's just, like, so weird. He's so aggressively, like, strange and odd, and that the part of him being stereotypically gay is kind of just wrapped in that. You know, and, you know, I've heard people say, like, you know, that was a thing in the 90s is you would know somebody and they would talk about their wife and you would never meet this wife and you'd be like, I'm pretty sure he's gay. But back in those days, you sort of like left it alone.
People were not out and proud in the same way that they are now. And I can also definitely see a framework for this movie of like, man, if he had been in a different place, if he had grown up somewhere different, if he had had more affirming people around him, he would be a different guy and he probably would have a lot more success than he does.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to point that out because I know that there are some people out there who will watch this movie and just not find it funny, and largely it's because of that.
Sure.
You know, the person who's writing this is like, I'm gay. I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's what this guy is like. I still think it's a great movie. I think it's quotable. I think it's really funny, but this part does bother me a little bit now.
Totally fair.
And I think that, you know, it's worth reading the essay. It's worth like kind of, you know, thinking about that as you watch the movie and sort of like what's funny about this, what's not funny about this.
Sure.
I don't know. I haven't really seen Christopher Guest kind of comment on that part of it. I just think he thinks of this as being an over-the-top character, like Nigel Tufnell is an over-the-top character.
Sure.
Or like, you know, the characters in like Mighty Wind or whatever are over-the-top characters.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Something to consider. And, you know, every once in a while there's a little bit of humor that's a little bit like, oh, this is a very 1996 joke. Yeah,
yeah, there are a couple of those.
yeah. Look, it's comedy. Patton Oswalt said once, I was watching a video where he was talking about it, he was just like, it's not even the woke thing, it's just like, humor is the least shelf-stable type of art out there. Like, you can make music and people in 1,000 years will still like it. You can make paintings in 1,000 years, people will still like it. You make comedy in 20 years, it's not funny anymore.
Read old Shakespeare plays. You have to have the translation of the joke on the other page.
Yeah, like you know, there are so few things that continue in our
the name of the play, Much Ado About Nothing, is a pussy joke.
Yeah,
like,
it
and
is.
we don't know that anymore.
Yeah.
So like,
what's the Sumerian joke of the like?
oh yeah, the dog walks in and says, "Oh, it's dark in here. I'll open the other one," and like whatever that means.
What the fuck does that mean?
Lost to the sands of time.
No one will ever know. No one will ever know.
Osmandius said, "Look upon my jokes and wonder."
Yeah, he sure did. But anyway, I really like this movie. It's really fun. And you know, if you are somebody who has ever done community theater, if you're somebody who has ever done stand-up comedy, improv, has ever tried to do any kind of creative pursuit in a small town anywhere, I think you will appreciate what this movie is going for.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate sort of the humor and the pitfalls and the weirdness of everybody involved with this. It's a lot of fun. Some legitimately, like, absolute laugh out loud moments. Some kind of gut-wrenching, like, ooh. Like,
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, we joked about the scene with the chicken wing, but that is like a very stark portrait of American poverty. And then at the end, when she's just like, "Oh yeah, I moved to Alabama and got my dad out of jail, and now I work at a different Dairy Queen."
And work at a different Dairy Queen.
It's just like, yeah, that's her life.
Yeah.
She's never leaving that Dairy Queen. Maybe she'll go to a different Dairy Queen. Like it's tough at times, but it's all kind of the backdrop for the humor. So, hey. What can I say?
Oh, it's very funny. I would recommend watching it.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been Donovan.
I've been Hannah.
And, go out there and just make an ass of yourself.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Full pratfall. Pull some amazing faces like Catherine O'Hara.
You really, it's worth it. I did a thing yesterday. I will not go into detail, but I did a thing yesterday that was kind of putting myself out on a limb, and it didn't work out. And I'm trying very hard to not feel foolish about it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Also, I cut my fucking hand open. God, I had to get stitches.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up at all.
Sharpen your knives, people. Make sure your knives are sharp so that you don't put any force and you don't cut your goddamn finger open like a dumbass like me.
We haven't done a fun fact of the podcast for a while, so here's your fun fact. Sharpen your fucking
knives, people. Jesus. And, make sure that the urgent care near you can do stitches. Like, thankfully mine could. Thankfully.
I mean, most urgent cares could do stitches, but as long as it's not like, as long as you don't have a knife embedded in you, they should be able to take care of it.
Yeah. And if you're going to cut your finger open, don't do it a week before you have a gig and you need that finger to play bass. All right, I'm done. Good night.
Toodaloo.
Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.